Hello my friends, welcome to the All Movies. Today I would like to focus on Jack Nicholson, who is known for having played a wide range of starring or supporting roles and holds the record for the most nominated male actor in the Academy's history. As usual, we start with Nicholson's theatrical debut.
Understand plain English? Tell him to get a bottle of milk for the baby. That's right, isn't it? Milk. Carol.
He's gonna shoot!
We gonna play games?
I asked you a question.
Okay, no, I don't.
And I'll tell you. This is your record.
Did I make a record?
Jack and Georgiana Carter were dating each other at the time of filming. Their relationship began a few months prior to the filming.
You're an arrogant little child.
Honey, you're a bad loser.
Is this Dr. Favre's office? Just a minute.
A young Nicholson has only a small part as masochistic patient. Later, however, as the actor's career began to take off, he was prominently featured on the home video releases to help generate interest in the film.
There's a real feeling of growth, of progress when that old drill goes in.
Hey, come on, Paulie. Don't forget we're gonna need studs.
Need me for what?
You all set, studs?
And get this.
You're in the paint business, ain't you? The paint business uses alcohol, don't it?
Weary, what's my old man gonna say?
Why, you're old man. You do the buying, don't you?
So buy a little more. Say, Glamour, ain't I seen you someplace before? She's out of her mind.
Is it true you used to work for Wendover and that you got fired about a week ago?
So what? A lot of people get fired. What's that mean? The concussion pounds his insides to a pulp.
Think it might kill him?
Probably, I don't know.
You don't, huh?
Same as all other times. I got the wrong last name. See, my daddy was a real bad man, and too many young bloods borrow his name when they're out raising Caine. Every well-dressed bad man does, Billy.
All right, boy, where's yours?
Oh, I left it home about 9 years ago, for my own protection, you understand. Listen, Dunson, the good and the evil in this world don't walk around with signs on their backs. Now, we're four little bugs scratching for a hole. Kogan forced us into this, and we got every right to kill him.
Father, I've been looking for you.
That's all right, but leave now because we're in a hurry.
What about Mother?
What about her?
Well, she wants you home.
Why?
Nicholson always gave high praise to everyone he worked with on the set, except one, the Raven. He said the Raven pooped on everyone, but especially liked to poop on him.
You didn't run, fly away?
Is that what you thought?
What else was I supposed to think? Call it off.
Jack claims to have nearly drowned while filming in the surf of Big Sur. Roger Corman shot the bulk of the film in 4 days, but the second unit work was filmed over a 9-month period by 5 directors, Nicholson included.
For what offense? What has the Baron done to you?
Back from the laundry full of holes, there's a saying on board the ship, boy, that sure is pulverized. But as an officer, I'd have to say that he's...
Many scenes featuring Nicholson were left on the cutting room floor.
I want a bike, and a train, and skates, and a woman.
Taking your shot? I guess I tend to be a little overly friendly at times.
One of 2 movies directed by Monty Hellman and starring Jack that were shot on location in the Philippines in 1964. The other being Backdoor to Hell.
Think on this. Far as your voice gonna carry, ain't too far for me to turn right round and hit you in the eye. He draw on me first. He was gonna shoot, ask him.
You got something in there?
Look at this now.
What?
Mention a saloon and you start to dancing around.
I ain't even gonna get started.
During the making of this film, Jack told Harry Dean Stanton that he should basically not do anything and let the wardrobe do the acting for him. It was written by Nicholson and shot in 3 weeks back-to-back with the shooting.
That ain't my problem. Tell them vigilantes, they're the ones.
It's the wrong thing to do.
What's right? Hang?
What the hell is the matter with you?
Don't get smart with me. I told you I was in a hurry.
You're 1 quart down.
Is that a way to treat a customer? Crazy kid? Oh! Ah!
She'll wait. Watch where you're going, Batman.
Go to hell. What fruit factory you guys come from?
At the time of filming in 1966, cast member Murray Matthew and Jack had just begun a serious relationship that continued through the making of Easy Rider.
Love 'em, Mac. Love 'em. Wear 'em for underwear all the time, you know. Anything with my initials on it. Individual against the collective conformity.
Jack had written a script that director Richard Rush thought was too experimental, so the concept was taken over by other writers, and Nicholson did not eventually receive a screen credit for his work, although he took what was essentially the male lead in the picture.
All right now, George, what are you gonna do now? I mean, you promised these people now.
According to Nicholson, he, Dennis Hopper, and Peter Fonda went through 155 joints while filming the campfire scene. Much to the crew's amazement, Jack was largely able to stick to the script as written. This is stark contrast to the other cast members, who improvised most of their lines.
You know, I'm not real hungry at the moment. You know what I mean?
That was it. That was the cue. He just said he doesn't need our kind in town. Wait.
Filmed in 1967, but not released until 1970, after Nicholson gained fame for his role in Easy Rider.
We got a check here, man. It's the first thing that's happened all day, and you're breaking up everything. All right, I'm willing to play the game, but she is not part of the game until you win. Just stop grabbing. You gotta beat me. You gotta beat me.
How are you?
What are you doing here?
Well, you know, same old thing. Looking for myself.
Yeah, but what are you doing here?
You know, it's funny, you never know where Daisy is.
Why?
Well, you're engaged to her. Don't you ever ask her what she does?
No?
Jack only accepted the role because of the money and his desire to act in something more mainstream than the films he were doing, but most of his role was left on the cutting room floor.
Just help me stop smoking.
You're doing all right. No, I'm not mad at you, honey. It'll be all right. We're not excited.
Look at me and tell me you're not mad at me.
I'm not mad at you.
That's right.
You stupid fuck.
Nicholson wrote some of his own lines for the monologue Bobby says to his father. He also wanted Janis Joplin to have the part of Pom Apodaca, but it was never offered to her.
Shut up! Come on!
You like that? Yeah. I give her to you.
What's wrong with her?
I'm a generous guy.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
The fight scene between Jack and Anne Margaret took a week to shoot. At the end, both performers had lost their voices. When he got ready to do a nude scene, he warned the others by saying, "Here comes Big Steve."
I'm going too fast for you. Your little mind operates like an IBM, like a pinball machine. First Cindy. Oh, no, not Cindy. How about Sandy? How about Cindy and Sandy?
Well, is it all right, that I came at this time?
Nicholson appeared in this film mainly as a favor to director Henry Jaglom. He did the film for no pay. His only demand was that he be given a new color television set.
You know, it's not like this is the only place in New York or anything like that. business and had left me a very special kiss goodbye.
Al Pacino was personally offered the role of David by Bob Rafelson. He turned it down to act in The Godfather.
Comically unworthy. She had a Sunday supplement color photograph of Johnny Unitas scotch taped to her wall.
A is 20 to 6. B.
The first of 3 films in 3 successive years, in which Nicholson was nominated for Best Actor. He turned down the role of Johnny Hooker in The Sting, which was ultimately played by Robert Redford, to appear in this film, which was written by his good friend Robert Towne. The word, fuck, and all permutations of it, are said 65 times. This was a record up to that time.
And he don't even have enough sense to pull a few goddamn copies. Bunch of candy asses.
What makes you certain that your husband is, involved with someone?
A wife can tell.
After several takes that never looked quite right, Faye Dunaway got annoyed and told Jack to actually slap her. He did and felt very guilty for it, despite it being her decision. The shot made it into the movie. At one point, he and Roman Polanski got into such a heated argument that Polanski smashed Nicholson's portable television because he used it to watch Los Angeles Lakers basketball games and kept stalling shooting.
She's my daughter. My sister, my daughter.
I said I want the truth!
Gonna be a lot of irate citizens when they find out that they're paying for water that they're not gonna get.
Oh, that's all taken care of. See, Mr. Gibbs?
No one had ever told him how much dirt there was. How much.
Wanting to protect a piece of art that he loved, Jack bought the rights to the film shortly after its release and kept it out of circulation for many years. In 2003, he entered into negotiations with Sony to re-release the film. Oliver Reed had incredible problems recording his part of the soundtrack, owing to his inability to sing. Because of this frustrating experience, Townshend was extremely suspicious towards Nicholson when he was chosen to the role of the Doctor. He, however, finally agreed when he heard Nicholson singing effortlessly.
All the time the needles flick and rock. No machine can give the kind of stimulation.
Well, I could show you how to do that.
You could? Oh, well, let's do that sometime.
And to pick up a hanky with your teeth.
Oh, I'd love that.
Nicholson took a percentage of the profits in lieu of a small salary for a modestly budgeted film. The move paid off when the picture went on to gross well over $120 million. Many of the cast members stayed in character, even when the cameras weren't rolling. Even during the first time Nicholson arrived on set, he was disturbed by how realistic the rest of the cast was.
Mac! Don't! Don't!
Hurry up. I can't do it. I'm not sure I'm able to do it. Just get down there and pull.
Marlon Brando's performance in this film was mostly improvised. Director Arthur Penn eventually gave up on him and decided to just let him act whatever way he wanted. Jack did not like the fact that Marlon used cue cards while filming. In their scenes together, Nicholson broke his concentration every time Brando shifted his gaze to the cue card behind the cameraman.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot.
What the hell are you caterwauling about? Tennessee. Baptist.
I'm New York, Jewish.
I know.
Oh, at least we're all Americans.
We sure are, Mr. Starr.
This is the only film in which Robert De Niro and Nicholson have appeared together.
Boss's daughter. Well, they liked her.
Get you so.
What the hell did you bring a thing like that up at a time like this for, Hermione?
Oh,
Shit!
Henry. Henry!
Jack once said jokingly of this movie that the director of this film is one selfish, demanding egomaniac, and the leading man isn't much better. All he wants to do is lie down in front of an air conditioner the whole day.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I'll never forget you, Hermione. You was the first woman I didn't have to pay for.
There were so many changes to the script during shooting that Nicholson claimed he stopped reading it. He would read only the new pages that were given to him each day. To get him in the right agitated mood, he was fed only cheese sandwiches for 2 weeks, which he hates. For the scene in which Jack breaks down the bathroom door, the props department built a door that could be easily broken. However, Jack had worked as a volunteer fire marshal and tore it apart far too easily. According to Shelley Duvall, the infamous scene took 3 days to film and the use of 60 doors.
I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in. Wendy, I'm home.
Tell me something, Nick. Just a question. What would you pay a guy?
This movie is arguably the first of the 1980s and 1990s erotic adult thrillers. Jack was 43 when he made this film, and Jessica Lange was 31. In James Caine's novel, main characters are 32 and 21, respectively.
I do want it, yeah.
You do?
Sure.
Oh,
Whoa. Jeez. Gonna have a baby, huh? Tell them not to stand behind the moon.
The role of Eugene O'Neill was always intended for Nicholson. According to Warren Beatty, he believed that Nicholson was the only person who could take his girl, Diane Keaton, away from him. The poem that Jack gives Keaton was a real poem that he had actually written for her.
Discuss the revolution with a man before you go to bed with him. It'll be missionary work rather than sex. I'm sorry to see you and Jack so serious about your sports.
Tucker! Tucker! Tucker!
Station 1? Station 1? This is Charlie Smith. Get us some goddamn help! You're killing drivers, and don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Because if I don't know what I'm talking about, where's the driver you took in there today?
No. No, senor.
Apparently, Jack once said that of all the pictures he had been in, this was the best film he had ever made. The original finish, which was filmed and edited into previews, had Charlie Smith bomb the Border Patrol headquarters and get sent to prison. But the ending proved to be too downbeat for audiences.
You need a lot of drinks
To break the ice.
to kill the bug that you have up your ass.
Shirley MacLaine said Jack would do crazy things on the set, like show up practically naked, and that a lot of their scenes were improvised. Jack won the Best Actor in a Supporting Role for this one. This is routinely called one of the best movies ever made and is nominated for the top 100 greatest American movies.
I was just inches from a clean getaway.
I mean, what kind of creep wouldn't catch a baby? If it was real, it would have been crippled for life.
He wasn't paid to bodyguard no baby. Listen, May, what you gotta do is forget about your father.
Nicholson was John Huston's first choice to play Charlie Partana, and he gained 30 pounds to play the role. The yellow jacket that he wears when he and Kathleen Turner are having a drink together was his own personal jacket. Angelica Huston purchased a jacket for him.
I'm never getting married again. I don't believe in marriage.
Neither do I.
Mandy Patinkin was originally cast but was replaced by Nicholson after 2 days of shooting when director Mike Nichols realized there was no chemistry between Patinkin and Meryl Streep. The main reason Jack agreed to appear in this movie was that he wanted to work with her. She was pregnant in real life during the making of the movie.
Can I have the car keys, please?
Not that I'd know a snowy egret if I was pissing on one. You want some lunch?
No, I think it's a little late in the season.
For lunch?
No, pissing on birds.
I wouldn't insult your intelligence with anything as trivial as seduction. But, I would love to fuck you.
Director George Miller revealed that the shoot had been extremely difficult because he had many disagreements with the production. The studio responded by looking for a new director, but were prevented by Nicholson, who supported Miller and vowed to walk off the production if he was replaced.
Get a little exercise. You know. Chosen by the military command. A firefight along the Nicaraguan border when we return.
Jack appears in this movie, but not in any artwork and promotional materials. His name appears only in the film's closing credits. At his own request, he was not paid for his role.
Bill. Tom, well, it's about time. Want to work with me today? Get some money? I had some last night, but I blew it. Get us a jug and a place to flop.
Nicholson's contract included a clause which allowed him to leave the shooting location to attend all Los Angeles Lakers basketball games. The biographer Mark Elliott claims the Meryl Streep and Nicholson allegedly had a personal relationship during the making of this movie. The book claims that two stars met in his trailer on set, but they both denied it.
You're a bum.
You look fine.
I didn't ask.
You must be joking.
Do I look like I'm joking?
Jack said of his role, "The thing I like about the Joker is that his sense of humor is completely tasteless." He later said the Joker was one of his favorite roles he played. He loved his performance in this film so much that at one point, he was watching the film once a week at his house. He received a percentage of the gross on the film, and due to its massive box office take, he took home around $60 million. It was single movie record for an actor's salary for more than 15 years.
You ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? I'm gonna kill you.
You idiot! You made me.
Then what happened?
Usually happens when somebody pulls a gun.
Producer Robert Evans was hoping to play the second Jake. Writer Robert Towne, who had hoped to direct the film, didn't think that Evans was up to the job and fired him, and Nicholson became the director. This film was the second in a planned trilogy of films. Final film to date directed by Nicholson.
More like conspiracy to commit murder. Escobar's gonna think I'm trying to cover my ass.
Friendship between men and women.
Well, not necessarily.
Jack mainly agreed to make this film in an attempt to revive the careers of his old friends, Bob Rafelson and Carol Eastman. Nicholson had worked successfully with the two on 5 Easy Pieces.
We can go as slow as you want. We're in the business of saving lives, Lieutenant Colonel.
Tom Cruise's Nicholson impersonation, when his character is quoting Colonel Jessup, was not scripted. Demi Moore's and Kevin Pollak's reactions are genuine. Nicholson was paid $5 million for 10 days' work. Technically, he worked an extra morning for free when Rob Reiner and crew didn't get all of his footage shot in time. Nicholson later admitted that it was one of the few times the money was well spent.
Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to.
Did you order the code red?
I did the job. Did you order the code red? You're goddamn right I did!
Fuck you. You're wearing me out. Never let a stranger in your cab.
The only major makeup Nicholson had to wear to become Jimmy Hoffa was fake nose and a set of false upper teeth. The character Jimmy Hoffa is one of Nicholson's favorite film roles. His daughter plays the young nun in the hospital scene, where Billy Flynn is dying from his burns. The F word and all various permutations of it are uttered 153 times.
I want you to kill the cocksucker!
I want you to stuff his arms up his ass. That's what I fucking want.
Demoted, I think, is the word. I've been offered a choice between no job and a job no one would want.
So what will you do?
I'll probably take the job no one would want.
Jack had been trying to get this movie made with his friend, screenwriter, and associate producer Jim Harrison for 12 years. He had final say about who the choice of the director would be, and in fact, one of his choices was Mike Nichols. It is the final collaboration between the two and the last horror movie in which Nicholson starred.
What are you, crazy?
No. I'm just marking my territory. And you got in the way.
Freddie, I want you to leave our home.
Tell the truth, Mary. You want me to kill John Booth? That's my job in life. And your job is to go on as though nothing happened. Let go of him. Look. I'm a jeweler. I got a jewelry store.
Although Nicholson was generally felt to be too old for his character, Sean Penn considered his performance to be one of the finest in his career. He allowed Nicholson to make editing choices for 2 weeks without Penn's involvement, trusting Nicholson's eye for filmmaking, being a director himself.
You know what I was doing when I was your age, Jason? Selling ties in Saks Fifth Avenue in New York City. Hundreds and hundreds of ties. One time I got so hot I sold a tie right off.
Sir Michael Caine had decided to quit acting after being greatly disappointed with the production of Bullet to Beijing and its sequel. Nicholson convinced Caine to come out of retirement to work on this movie. Caine had such a good time that he decided to continue acting.
You don't get it. Fuck! You're wrong! Yeah? If you two didn't get ambitious, she'd be sitting on the front porch sipping white wine right now!
It wasn't her, it was me!
Apollo reunion. Bunch of old astronauts trying to squeeze into old space capsules. Not a pretty sight.
The prequel, Terms of Endearment, has been called one of the greatest movies of all time. This movie, in which Shirley MacLaine and Jack reprised their roles, was a critical and commercial failure and is routinely called one of the worst sequels of all time.
Let's do it.
And our world will never feel quite the same again. Good night. And God bless you all. If you do not shut up, I am going to relieve you of your command.
We have to strike now, sir. Annihilate! Kill! Kill! Kill!
Shut up!
Originally, it was planned that Nicholson would only play President James Dale, with Michael Keaton playing Art Land. Nicholson accepted the role without reading the script, since he had enjoyed working with Tim Burton on Batman and wanted to work with him again. This is the only movie in which Jack plays a presidential character.
What I know is as long as you keep your work zipped up around me, I don't give a rat crap what or where you shove your show. Are we done being neighbors for now?
Shut up, kids!
Give us a lift, would you, Melvin?
While reading the script, Nicholson was terrified no one would like the movie because his character was so horrible to people. He later said that playing Melvin was difficult, but he was the most lovable character he has ever played. He described the movie as a love story where you do nothing but aggravate somebody. He was 60 when the film was made. Helen Hunt was 34. A 26-year difference. The most recent film to win both Best Actor and Best Actress at the Academy Awards.
I know I can do better than that.
Bella.
Buttons. The lab guys check for prints on the buttons on both the coat and the dress. God damn it.
The picture was a passion project for Jack and producer and director Sean Penn. Unfortunately, the screenplay was turned down by every major studio in Hollywood. Nicholson's secretary in the movie, Jean, was played by Penn's mother, Eileen Ryan. The photograph of Jerry Black as a younger man is the same one used in The Shining.
It's real and I know it.
There's no wizard, Jerry.
She
kept these? I can't believe she kept these.
Ow! Stop! Stop! Stop kidding me! Let's talk about this!
You were my friend. Was I really the man you wanted to be with?
Alexander Payne said the only actor he had in mind for the role of Warren Schmidt was Nicholson, and he was going to do whatever he could to convince him to work on this movie. When they met to discuss his role, Payne had a one-sentence directive for him. It was, "Jack, I want you to play a small man." The Woodman of the World Life Insurance Society is a real organization. Jack filmed his scenes at the company's offices and was given a plaque making him an honorary Woodman member.
Well, how do you feel you handled that situation?
Not as well as I could have.
Remember, Lou, temper's the one thing you can't get rid of by losing it. Implosive is the cashier who remains quiet day after day and finally shoots everyone in the store. You're the cashier.
Harry Dean Stanton played the blind old man with the cane in the film. He was Nicholson's best friend and was cast as the old man at his suggestion. New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani appeared as himself and yells to Dave Busnick, "You can do it." This line famously features in many of Sandler's films, where it is usually shouted by frequent Sandler collaborator, Rob Schneider.
Okay, good. Just needed to be sure because I put nitroglycerin into your drip. And if you had taken Viagra, the combination could be fatal.
You know, I've never seen a woman that age naked before.
You're kidding.
Hey.
Nicholson turned down starring in Bad Santa to be in this movie. He plays a notorious bachelor who always escaped the noose, while Diane Keaton plays a divorcee. In real life, it's the other way around. Nicholson is a divorced, while Keaton is a bachelorette. 20th Century Fox declined making the film, citing that the leads were too old.
The schmuck who deserves to die worries about you. Sometimes worrying about you feels like a full-time job.
Well, doll, I'm doing great. So you don't have to work that shift anymore.
Today, what I'm saying is this. When you're facing a loaded gun, what's the difference?
Originally, Nicholson turned down his role in the movie, but after a meeting with Martin Scorsese, William Monahan, and Leonardo DiCaprio, he was finally convinced. The main reason he joined the production was because he had previously done a few comedies and wanted to play a villain again, and he considered the character of Costello to be the ultimate incarnation of evil. DiCaprio called his one-on-one scene with him one of the most memorable moments of my life.
Yeah, but Queenan, now I got no access. You killed the guy who had all the information. Now Dignam's gone. Forget about him. He resigned.
Don't give a fuck about Dignam.
Yeah.
Best in L.A. Ain't the best in L.A. no more.
The way I see it, we can lay around here hoping for a miracle in some bullshit science experiment. Or we can put some moves on.
Nicholson's own experience in the hospital, just prior to filming, inspired some of the dialogues and acting for the movie. For example, the mirrored glasses seen in the movie were not originally in the script, but Nicholson, who obtained them while in the hospital, brought them to the set. Director Rob Reiner decided to include them in the film.
Can't get my head around it.
Maybe your head's in the way.
See, that's where they lose me. I mean, what would a snail have to do to move up in the lineup? Lay down a perfect trail of slime? Now may I get back to the... Sorry, Annie. The fucking... Sorry again, Annie. Point. You are a fucking moron.
too rough.
Much too rough.
If this almost made the law review creature pins me between a choice of saving you or the company that I founded and you preside over, I may be forced to choose the company, even though doing so may break my life forever.
To date, this is the last film to star Jack Nicholson, as well as the last film directed by James L. Brooks. And that's all, my friends. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.